Welcome to our very first episode of a brand new conversation. Actually, we've been having the conversation for many, many moons, but we haven't put it in the context of Millionaire. The Behind the Chair Millionaire best practices of Millionaire Stylists. So you can tell just by the title that we've assumed that not only is it possible, but it's probable of really becoming literally a millionaire. And we define a millionaire as when your what you own becomes greater than what you owe. That difference is your worth, your net worth. And when you continue to manage not only your income, but your savings and your spending and your debt, very, very probable to get to $1 million net worth. So from now on, we're going to be talking about, I'm not going to talk about it as this is wealth building and, having financial security. It's like, no, we're going for it. My first guest is almost halfway there. And I have a couple of more guests next week that are actually on the other side of it as well. So this is very, very real, my friends. We're not making it up. And my guest today is Katelyn Koski. She has been on my in conversations with me before. Actually, I brought her on a few tutorials with me, and she's from Simonson, Salon and Spa, and Coon Rapids, and she's been there for a few years. I'm not going to give you any of her performance stats. I want to give you what she's been able to do since 2016 on this plan to becoming a millionaire, and then I'll bring her out. I'm going to get her talking. But in 2016, she really began to, I call it, make the big pivot from I'm working behind the chair and I'm earning a good living to I want to get serious not only about building my wealth, but the aspiration that I would become a millionaire. And in 2016, you can see her income was relatively low. She was getting started. She'll tell you about that part of her story. But in her first year of getting serious about building her net worth, she reduced $8,000 her debt by $8,000 and put an additional $2,000 in her savings account. So her net worth, if you will, she became $10,000 wealthier than she did the year before. But no, wait, there's more. Now she spikes up her income. She triples her income in that next year, which is the first the first key, the first golden rule, if you will, for the millionaire mindset is I need to give myself a raise. So she gave herself a raise. Boy, talk about a raise, tripled her income. And no, wait, there's more. And the next key is to begin to reduce debt. She melted down $29,000 of her debt in 1 year and saved an additional $10,000. So in that year, she triples her income and increased her net worth by another just this side of $40,000. So you can see that once you get into this conversation, the keys for the millionaire mindset: give yourself a raise, pay yourself first, manage spend less than you make, and reduce your debt. Those are the big four. I'm going to give them to you again because it's important. Give yourself a raise. Pay yourself first, which is what I talk about is saving money. Number 3, spend less than you make. Whatever you have left, you spend less than that so that you have additional money to pay off, begin lowering your debt. You don't want to wait to get out of debt, to pay off your debt before you save money. You want to do them both at the same time if you're going to be going for being a behind-the-chair millionaire. So these 4 rules, you need to embrace those rules if you're going for millionaire. If you're just going to have a better life and pay off your debt, that's fine. But if you're really serious as a heart attack about becoming a millionaire, you have to do 4 things simultaneously. Give yourself a raise your income. Pay yourself first, which means save some of what you make before you spend what's left. Number 3, spend less than what's left over and take that difference and pay off your debt. I'm going to be talking about that over and over and over again. But look at her, what else she did. On that next year, she continues to increase her income. Now, she'll tell you that it wasn't as much as the year before, only because she worked less hours behind the chairs. But she did give herself about a $4,000 raise. And look at, she nuked another $18,000 in debt and saved another $15,000 in long-term savings. So if you do the math on that, what is that? About another 33. She increased her net worth another $33,000. The next year after that, she increases her income a few more thousand, continues to nuke down her debt, $15,000, and adds another $15,000 to her long-term savings. So this is how your mind becomes a millionaire, and then your money follows. In 2020, she just told me that she made about in 2020 what she made in 2019. And she was, I think she said we were closed for 10 and a half weeks. So I don't want to give you any more of what because she's in my room right now. I want to bring her out, get her chatting about what I just told you, because this is an extraordinary conversation. So I'm going to go back, unpair my PowerPoint. There she is right here. I'm going to unmute her, and you're going to make her feel nice and welcome, you guys.
Hi.
How are you, Katelyn?
Good to see you again. I'm great. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for giving us a few minutes of your time this afternoon. This is not a sacred conversation. It's a private conversation, and it's very, very sacred. And that you would agree to come in and have a conversation with us, this is big. So thank you very much.
Of course. As some of my fellow coworkers will be happy to tell you, I love talking about money now that I understand more and more of it. I love nagging people and getting them to try and save. And I love kind of showing hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here.
First of all, let's just give our viewers a story of because you've been a hairdresser for how many years?
Oh darn, 16 or 17.
Right, but a handful of years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago, you made a pivot from what I would call just kind of being on an ordinary money path, a typical money path that most hairdressers. You got really serious about what we're calling, a millionaire mindset. And you heard me kind of set up the 4 rules. How did that happen? What provoked that pivot?
So you and I had a conversation about a year ago, and more of my backstory is kind of in that conversation. Long story short, I took a year off from my salon and I moved out of the country late 2015, and I was gone for about 14 months, and it was a wonderful experience, but I made absolutely no money, and my visa ran out. I couldn't afford to stay. So I had to come back, and I came back in October of 2016, and with a
lot of debt, I think. Didn't you tell me?
Oh, yeah.
That whatever debt you had before Australia, there was a lot more of it.
Yep, I was broke as a joke. I had so much debt just overwhelming me, and there was at one point that I just started back at the salon, and I got a notification from the bank that my account had overdrafted, and my thought was, well, Wells Fargo is just going to have to wait till payday because I have nothing to cover that.
Yeah, my partner Randy would say I was so broke, I couldn't even afford to pay attention.
Yes, that was exactly it. It's I couldn't afford to buy socks. I couldn't afford to pay for coffee. I had nothing, no savings, nothing to cover this.
So you were in essence really starting over, not only in rebuilding clientele, but you were, as you call it, as broke as a joke. It was no joke. I was broke.
It's funny now, but
it's not funny. Yeah, back then it's not so funny. It's no, this is not funny at all, right?
Yeah. I did what I think everybody does when they're broke is you work a lot of hours, you work a lot of days, you do as much as you can. And I did like 5, 6 days a week, 50 hours a week. But that kind of just started to push it to, it was hard on my body. And then what really prompted me to start focusing on how can I grow my money? How can I make it work for me instead of how many hours can I put in at the salon was in 2018, I had a repetitive motion injury, and it forced me to have to look at this. It forced me to have to think about the future. And it was right at that time period too of moving back that I had a financial planner who was a referral, and he headhunted me down, and he pretty much forced me to come in to have a meeting with him. I didn't want to. I kept blowing him off. I was like, I don't have time. I'm working all the time. I don't have time for this. I have more important things. And he pretty much hounded me until I came in, sat down for a meeting, and we looked at things together. And so that combination of having information in front of me, as well as not physically being able to do the amount of work that I was doing, kind of just put me on this path of, wow, I need to plan ahead for me because nobody else is going to do it for me.
Yeah, and so what provoked you was a little bit of crisis, and you had a couple of toes in, like there's a 401k plan at Simonson,
Yeah.
but you weren't really taking it serious. So 2018, the combination of financial stress, and then nitroglycerin on your bonfire, you get a repetitive motion injury. So it's like, okay, I need to pivot. So it was then and I think that's the year I met you. I was doing a seminar for Simonson's about this, and I think the combination, it's almost like the universe was conspiring to work for you. So you said, okay, it's game time. So
yes.
in that year, that you made tremendous improvement with, again, the four rules. Give yourself a raise, make more money, pay yourself first. You started taking, what was it, 20%? At first it was 5 and 10% and putting it in the plan. And then you began to spend less of what was left over, and you took that difference and you started like nuking your debt.
Yes. And that was very much where, after meeting with the financial planner, it was really made me focus on what I had to do. So, at the time I could only afford to put, the bare minimum into a 401k and the bare minimum into, he had me start a Roth because I was so focused on paying all of that debt off. Cause I had nothing. I very easily could have filed bankruptcy, but I didn't. So working with him, it was, as debt kept getting paid off slowly, it freed up more money where, I went from putting 6% into my 401k to 10% to 12 to 15 to 18. And now I put away 20%. And then with my Roth IRA, I, put away, I think I started at 100 and then 200, and now I'm at 300. So it's like I work with him to kind of max that out with what I can afford to do.
And so you began doing this, but as I'm getting to know you, I think the combination of saving money, getting consistent, persistent with saving, and at the same time managing your money in a way where you could start paying off your debt, it sounds like you had experiences in that surprised you. It's like, number one, this isn't as hard as I thought. It's exhilarating. And then all of a sudden you found yourself, you tripled your income.
Yeah.
In 1 year, you went like 25 to 75. That's like a $50,000 lift. And you went, okay, I'm not going to go out and spend this. I'm going to take a big chunk of this. And you all of a sudden you go from 4 to 5% in savings. And I think that jacked up to like 25%. And then you're throwing, $15 grand a year at lowering your debt.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is with that is, even though I had tripled that from that year of transition to coming back and being busy and being booked, it wasn't even mine that I actually had, because my paychecks were spent before I even got them. They were spent on bills, they were spent on debt, they were spent paying my credit card off from the previous month.
Yes.
Because of course there was overspending. I didn't know how to manage it at that time.
Yes.
So I made a lot of money, but it wasn't working for me.
Right. Well, and what I loved, because it was as your income went up, that second rule, pay yourself first. You had money taken out of your check and diverted into a long-term savings plan. And you and I were chatting. What I don't see, I don't miss. What
Yes.
I don't see, I don't spend. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that
Yep.
stylists that are on what I'll call a conventional plan is the hope is, well, hopefully I'll make enough, and once I pay all my bills, I'm going to save what's left. And that's called famous last words. You can go through a 30, 40-year career, get on the back end of that, and be, as you call it, as broke as a joke. And now it's not joke. Now this is very, very serious. So this was kind of built in all along.
Yeah, it was something with my 401k. It comes out of my paycheck automatically, so I don't even miss it. It's kind of funny because I work with so many wonderful people, and I see them just spend. And sometimes I kind of thought, I'm like, where are they getting this money from? What are they doing? And then I kind of realized, oh, they're spending now, but they're not saving. And I kind of had like this little bit of jealousy and a little fact of like, well, they can buy that. I want that. But I kind of had to have like that little come to Jesus moment of, okay, I will have that down the line and I can have that in the future, but I need to save now. And I'd rather save now and be broke now or be budget now so I can have that for the future. So when I see people buying the newest iPhone or the newest car, the newest whatever, I kind of just, if that works for them, great, but that's not what I want. I want to be able to have a better lifestyle the older I get too, which means I need to save now.
Right. It's interesting. I'm keeping my eye on my feed. People that are watching, Kelly said, I wish they taught this in hair school, how to set up for financial success. And I would agree that this is not a new conversation. What's new about the conversation is we put it in a different context called the big Y is millionaire. We're saying millionaire. And because you were working with a financial planner, and what's cool about this is working with a financial planner is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I don't want to come off as I'm discouraging that. Having said that, after a conversation like this, there's enough apps today on a mobile device where you can literally predict how long it's going to take if you stay diligent and getting to cross, I call it the 7-figure Rubicon, the land of milk and honey. I am a millionaire. And you were showing me in preparing for the interview, I don't know if you can see this, but this is your financial planner gave you this, and this tells you that if you stay on the plan, what did you tell me? You're 33 now, and by the time was it 50?
56.
56, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, 23 years. Now, if you're 20-something or 30-something, 23 years looks like eternity. Right?
Yeah.
But on the trajectory you are now, and I'm looking at this, am I seeing this right? Projected at 50-something, you're going to have 1.5 million.
And that is actually very lowball too.
Right.
I will have, when I retire at 56, on my lowball trajectory, I'll have 1.5 million, almost 6 million. And we lowball that. I work with my financial planner and my income is in the 70s, but just from working with a repetitive motion injury, working with a commission job, we lowball that to going off of an income of like 60 or 65,000. So I think that's only going to get higher.
Yeah, your ending value was just about it was like just aside of 1,900,000. So I really want
Yes.
to, for the viewers that are watching this, this is right up to unbelievable. If we were going to, you're going to be, what did you say, 56 when you
Yep.
when you get at 56 you're 1.5 conservatively, but
Mm-hmm.
if you said I just want to, where will I be, when will I be at 1 million? And I
Mm-hmm.
would say that you're going to probably, if you stay on this plan, you're probably going to cross the $1 million Rubicon in your 40s. You're 33 now. So, you know, we're talking somewhere between 12 and 15 years. In your
Yeah.
40s, you will be a behind the chair millionaire. I mean, I'm telling you.
That's what I want.
And every person that's watching this, and every person that will be watching this to go, oh my, OMG, I had no idea that I was in a profession that not only was it possible, but highly probable if we're on this, I call it the millionaire mindset, the 4 rules to the millionaire mindset, not a question of if, but when I become a millionaire.
Yep. Well, and you and I have talked about this, and it's true. And after our conversation, that's when I really went to look, what is my prediction? How can I hit it? And so at the beginning of 2020, just for funsies, because I'm not an annoying person, I went through and I wrote down on January 2nd,
Yeah.
where's my camera? How much do I have in the bank with my retirement accounts on January 2nd, 2020? And it was 92,655. Okay, cool. January 2nd of 2021, during a pandemic, during being closed for 10 and a half weeks, and during those 10 and a half weeks, I wasn't able to make my 401k contributions. I did at that time put my Roth contributions on hold because it was unknown. I didn't, I put them on hold for 2 or 3 months. So even with having to put a pause, January 2nd of 2021, I was at 126,613. So because I already had that base, during this crazy year, that money grew by $34,000, and I didn't have to do a darn thing.
There you go. I call it, my teachers have called it, you're making money in your sleep, or
Yes.
you earned over $30,000 interest for a living. And that would not have happened to you had you not put this away. So this is way beyond saving for a rainy day. It's like, no. When you're on your way to becoming a millionaire, your money begins working not as hard, but way harder for you as you have been working for it. If, give myself a raise, pay myself first, spend less than I make, and pay off my debt. So I want to ask you a couple more questions. If somebody is watching this and they're going, okay, it's resonating with me, but I don't understand it all. Should I wait to understand it, before I start taking action? They're not sure, and you can get analysis paralysis about this.
Yeah.
What might you tell them that would get them started?
You know what it comes down to it? I think the biggest thing is, how can you make it easy? Like, if you're a technical person and you can find an app that will work for you, awesome. Get an app, download it, figure out where you can find those accounts. Does your job offer a 401k, or do you have to go for a Roth? Are you a contractor? I'm an employee, so I get a 401k, but if you're a contractor, you still have to save. I don't know what type you would be for contractor. For myself, it helped for me to speak with somebody and have them visually show me, graphs and that total. Like, it was on my Edward Jones account that I found that picture that Michael Cole was showing of projected. I am going to have pretty much conservatively 1.6 million when I hit age 56. So for me, what I do for a few of my coworkers whom I love dearly, I took that and I texted it to them, and I'm like, be like me. You're younger than me. Be better than me. Have more than me. Show me up. Plan ahead in that way.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I haven't told you this. I'm going to kind of surprise you. Now you can Google what is the average net worth of people in America, and then average net worth for people in my age group, And you're
Yeah.
already, just the average you're at 33, you're well over. You're like 7 or 8 times higher in your net worth than the average person that's on the front end of 30 something, and that motivates you. And I think because we're all in the business we're in is such where we really do have our hands on the dials and knobs of that first rule, which is I'm going to give myself a raise and look for opportunities to make more so that I can pay myself more in saving and I can pay off my debt quicker. So we could be talking about this for the next several hours, Katelyn. I just enjoy geeking out with you about this whole millionaire mindset. So we've been on about a half an hour, so I don't want to keep my friends out any longer in this. Promise me you'll come back. You're now part of this very rapidly growing community called the Facebook private community of becoming a Behind the Chair Millionaire $1 Million Stylist. I want to bring you back at least once, maybe a couple of times a year, so that people can see the progress you're making. And I'm going to be bringing a lot of other people into this conversation as well.
Absolutely. I think it's an honor. And I think learning the hard way of going from nothing to now being on my way to saying, I did it myself, I will be a millionaire. If I can do it, I think anybody can do it. And I started late. I started in my late 20s, early 30s. So for anybody who's even younger, you can get even more than that. Just you have to just sit down
you got started in your kind of back end of your 20s, front end of 30 something. I got started in my mid 30s. So the earlier you start, the faster you get there, and then you get there well before you're ready to quote retire. So you just showed us a number in your 50s. You're going to be just this side of being a multimillionaire, having $2 million. So it's just an extraordinary conversation.
Yeah, fine by me. I'll take it.
All right. Well, say hi to all my homies at Simonson's, and I'll be in touch with you, and we'll have you back soon for an encore.
That sounds great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. We're going to give a round of applause and express gratitude. You stay well, my friend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now. You guys, this was important. This was important. Permit me to just summarize the experience that you and I had, because we're going to have many experiences. This is where I'm going, guys. That this is I posted my new book. I'm on the back end. I'm finalizing it now, so it's not out. I've got all of and this is going to be given to you in a digital book, compliments of L'Oreal Salon Emotion. So, give it up for L'Oreal. As we're finalizing the book, I am now, because I want people to know I'm not making any of this up. This is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And so every week, we're going to continue our search for the Behind the Chair Millionaire. Those of you who've been following my work since 2015, we've been in search of awesome. But we talk about, I'm awesome behind the chair, making money, using social media, managing my business, doing level jumps, managing gratuities, all that. But this is, no, millionaire. I'm starting a brand new community. It's going to be a private Facebook community for only those people that are serious. They're saying, I want to be more than what other people do. Forget this beauty school dropout, and I'm just a hairdresser. It's like, no, screw that. I'm a millionaire. I'm behind the chair. My livelihood, my career, I'm focused. I make more money and build more wealth than many people with baccalaureate degrees, master's degrees, MBAs, PhDs, whatever you want to say. That's what's possible for us, you guys. I'm going to take you on that journey. Now, as you begin to get the 4 keys to the mindset, again, our mind becomes a millionaire before the money follows. but there are 4 rules, if you will. Give myself a raise, which means make more money. I want to start, I don't want to mark off early, go home, go home early, come in late. No. I now have a brand new big why that resonate with. I'm going to dial up my income. I'm going to pay myself first. I'm going to save my money first and learn how to live on the rest, spend the rest. And no, wait, there's more. Once I save my money, I'm going to save at least 25% of what I earn for my quest to being a millionaire. I'm going to spend less of what's left over so that I can begin to reduce my debt. So that my net worth is the combination of how much I have put away, how much equity I have in my home, and I want that to be a 7-figure number. 7-figure means I win over $1 million. And this conversation was all about that. Katelyn works with a financial planner. Now, if you want to work with a planner, just great. But I promise you that I will mentor you and give you the data and the apps and the infrastructure. If you want to, you'll get there. But in hers, her net worth is currently at $132,000. If she continues on we call it trajectory that she's on, and at 50, what did she say, 56, $1.5 million. So if she's at 1.5 and 56, she would cross $1 million probably at 50. She's 33. That's 17 years away. That's not a long period of time to be a millionaire. And she can dial up her income even more to save more, and she will be able to even cross that Rubicon in her 40s. We can do that, you guys. There's data now, and I was telling her, I just pulled this off of Google this morning. I had to show you this. This is called the median, which is a kind of a fancy word, a kind of average net worth by age. The average net worth of people that are under 35 years old, $14,000. Katelyn right now is at $134,000. I mean, do the math, you guys. That's more than, that's almost 10 times more. Because she's first of all, she's a hairdresser behind the chair. She's becoming a Jedi at the 4 rules of becoming a millionaire. Now, look at this. She's already ahead of people from 35 to 44. The average net worth in America is $91,000. She's already ahead of them. She's almost, next year, she'll be as much as people that have been around 45 to 54. So you can always measure yourself against the rest of people in the country and say, heck, I'm going to be, even at 65 years old, your average American only is at $266,000. That sounds like a lot, and it is, great, good for them. But heck, by here, you'll probably have 2 to 3 million if you're in the conversation. So stay in it with me. There's so much more to talk about. The next one I interview, you're going to go, yeah, but she's not a millionaire. Well, she's on her way, and I'm going to introduce you. I've got 3 hairdressers, not hairdresser salon owners, hairdressers that have been behind the chair very quietly, and they have well over $1 million in net worth. And yes, they are going to be on my program here next. So this is a very important conversation. I want you to watch this again. We'll continue to edit it down. Tell people that you know that you care about, that are hairdressers. Just tell them, I love you too much to not share this with you. It would be awful. It would be profoundly unfortunate if you went through an entire career as a hairdresser and didn't become a millionaire. That would be, to me, awful. People, and we got a plan for you. Do the plan. There would be only one thing more important than not doing this plan and following our lead, and that is not doing the plan and thinking that it wouldn't make a difference. Trust me when I tell you, there's going to be a number of people over the next 10, 15, 20 years that will become a millionaire as a result of this conversation. If it's not you, oh my God, think about if it is you, to go, whoa, I remember the first time I heard this. I just talked to somebody this morning that said, I heard it 3 years ago, but I didn't really take action until 2 years ago. And I said, look, dude, you're only 31. Who cares? You're on it now. And in that 2 years, he's already into six-figure net worth. So at any rate, I'm ranting. I'm going to let you get back to work. I want to thank L'Oreal, Salon Emotion, that this conversation is now this is unsponsored, powered by L'Oreal. So if it wasn't for L'Oreal, L'Oreal is giving me the grant money, if you will, to develop this, not only this content, but this community, because they want this for you. They know it's possible. So if you're grateful for what we're giving you, thank L'Oreal. L'Oreal, and these are all their brands. And you can see we got Redken, L'Oreal Professional, Shoe, Curology, Kerastase, Pulp Riot, Mazzani, Biolage, Matrix. Baxter, I'm going to have to take that down because that was sold. So good, a good conversation, and we will see you tonight for an interview on In Search of Awesome. So great to see you. I'm going to let you get back to work. Thanks for hanging out with me. Namaste.